URL patterns. Here we will have an understanding of URL patterns. Let's take a bit deeper into URL patterns. At high level, URL patterns dispatch requests to views based on the path. To begin, let's take a brief look at regular expressions. URL patterns use regular expressions to interpret the URLs for our site. A regular expression is a sequence of characters that defines a search pattern for strings. Here are some examples for some regular expressions that we will use. With the regular expression /d, it matches any digit character. When it is /d+, it tells to repeat preceding character. With the $sign, it means end of string. So suffix $ will match any string that ends with the word suffix. If the regular expression $, it will match any empty string because it begins and ends with nothing in between. If it is /w, it will match any word character or alphanumeric. However, to learn more, you can check out regular expressions on pythons.org to play with different regular expressions. I can give you an example how you can type here, or you can have a brief understanding of this site. Here I will go to the input box labeled your regular expressions. I will type here /d+. If in your test string I can write 12 ounce. What I can see here? At the bottom of the screen in the results I can see the character 12 matched because they are highlighted while the rest of the string did not match. Now let's look at some example URL patterns. urls.py file will define a variable called URL patterns, which is a list of calls to the URL function. URL function has three parameters. First parameter is regular expression. This will be used to match against the request. In this example, we are using $. So we are matching against the empty string, which is a request to a website with no path. Django does not consider the final / in a URL for matching, so even though the root path is really a /, it is treated as an empty string. You might notice that our regular expression is preceded by an R character. This tells Python that we want to interpret the string as being a raw string. In Python, a raw string does not use / as an escape character, which is the normal behavior for the Python strings. Regular expressions often include a \, so it's easy if by convention we just always make our strings raw rather than they have backslashes or not. So for regular expressions, most Python developers just always make their regular expression use a raw string. The second argument is the view to call if there is a match. In this example, if someone comes to the root path of our website, it goes to the home view. If we follow the path of a request through our project with this URL pattern defined, a request to the root path will be directed to the home view, which once implemented will take to servicing /home.html template. Lastly, URL patterns take a name parameter at the end. This will be useful inside of templates, which we will look later. Let's take a look at the overall procedure used by URL patterns. It begins at the top of the list and determines if the first one matches. If there is a match, it will call the associated view with the request. Otherwise, it will continue into the next pattern. In this case, if the URL is slash, then we will go to the home view. Otherwise, it will check the next pattern. If there are no matches to any pattern, Django will return a 404 page. Now that we have seen the concepts behind the URL patterns, we are ready to implement them for our project.